Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 3rd October today, and in this video we are going to solve questions from these important articles which are on this slide, which were actually taken from the newspapers. You know, if you are the first time visitor of this channel, then let me introduce this initiative to you guys. Every day in this video we discuss three types of questions. The first set of questions are from the current affairs. We take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We derive prelims based questions from those articles so that it will give the idea how the prelims based questions could come from, how the prelims based questions could be framed from those articles which are in the current affairs, so that it gives you the broader vision of the article and also helps you in your prelims preparation. The another set of questions which we discuss here is from the static topic. If you know, we had started discussing the static topics here too, and we had started with Indian polity. And today we are going to discuss the features of the fundamental rights. After discussing that, we will derive a prelims based question on that too, which will give you the broader idea about the concept and also, improve your knowledge in a very specific way. Then after discussing these current affairs topics and the static topic, we'll go to the previous year questions at the end, discuss these questions in detail, find out the ways and methods by which we can solve those questions, and also we will try to find out the way in which we can implement this knowledge in the next upcoming exam. So this is all about this initiative. Before we will start our discussion by first article here, I would like to request you guys, please, if you are if you are watching this video, please watch the video till the end. This may be boring, this may seem boring, but trust me, we had brought up the questions in this video which are very much essential and basic for you. At least they will cover you the basic information, or when your prelims would be near, when your exams would be near, what at that time you would want to revise your current affairs, but the time won't permit you. You would have to go for the different types of the materials for your current affairs. If at that time you have these questions with you, you would just revise these questions would definitely connect you with the current affairs topics. So please accept my request and start noting down these questions, or at least take the screenshot of these questions. And another request which I want to request you here is, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from the initiative. Before we will start discussing the questions, we'll just have a look at the topics which we have to, from which we had derived these questions. Let's get the basic idea, let's get the context of these questions which we are going to discuss. The first article which is important for you, which was in the news, is the what special status is Ladakh seeking for. We had seen even during the elections there was huge unrest in Ladakh. People were out of their houses, they were on strikes, and we had seen that famous scientist from that place, social worker from that place. What are they demanding? What were their demands? After the abrogation of Article 370, after Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into two union territories, there were a few special status which was enjoyed by the Ladakh when it was the part of the Jammu and Kashmir. But once the Jammu and Kashmir was broken down into two union territories, this special status was taken away from the Ladakh, and they became just the union territory with no legislative assembly. They are directly controlled by the center. So here the Ladakh, they had various issues there. By taking those issues into the consideration, the people of the Ladakh, they went out of their houses and they were demanding that they should be added either in the 5th schedule of the constitution or the 6th schedule of the constitution, where they will enjoy a lot of autonomy, and they will control their people, their tribes in a particular way as the constitution accepts. So this is their demand. They want to be added as the either in the 5th schedule or the 6th schedule of the Indian constitution. So with respect to these schedules, we will solve the prelims based questions, and we will get little more idea about those schedules, and in the quiz session we will solve those questions and you will get more idea about it. Here, what is the context that they are seeking to be added as in the 5th schedule or the 6th schedule? They want the constitutional amendment, and they want to be added into these schedules. Then the another article, it is about the war which has been in process which has started way back, but last breath when it took, it was in 7th October 2023, when Hamas militants went into the Israeli territory and they killed many people there and took the hostages. But Israel retaliated. They retaliated against Hamas. They killed many of its members. It is said that according to the South Africa, as they went to the international courts, they went there and they claimed that Israel is doing the genocide. Even the world is right now recognizing that, most part of the world is recognizing that the Israel is doing the genocide there. So with response to that, the Iranian proxies, Hezbollah, it is the proxy of Hamas is the proxy of Iran, as they are in direct conflict with the Israel. So other Iranian proxies like Houthis from Yemen, Hezbollah from Lebanon, and other more proxies, they started to go for the proxy war with the Israel. So in response to that, Israel went for the different tactics, which is supply chain tactics, where the pagers lost it, and it damaged reputation of Iran. It damaged the confidence of the Hezbollah, and their leader Nasrallah was also killed. So with respect to that, there were attacks there was attack on the Hamas leader in Iranian territory from the Israel. So in taking all those things in consideration, last night we saw that how Iran retaliated to it. And right now Hezbollah is right now Israel is attacking on Hezbollah, and there were few territories which were shown which were given in our news article today. So it becomes important for us, if we look at different types of questions which can be framed on this. We had seen the map based questions, we had seen the border based questions, we had seen the proxy based questions, we had seen the trade based questions with respect to India. Now what else can UPSC ask from this article on the basis of your prelims exam? Today there were given the areas on which the Israel has attacked. So those areas become very much essential for us to know what are these areas, as they were mentioned in the article. Tomorrow UPSC can ask you these areas where in the news they belong to which place of the country, so we should know. So with respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about those areas on which recent attacks had happened. Then the another article which was in the news is about the Brazil coast is eroding faster. This is one of the major issue because of the global warming, because of the climate change. As we are taking it not that seriously, we think that it would, if its implications would come, it would come after centuries. But right now we are seeing that Brazil coast, it is eroding. There is a coast, it is Atafona, which was mentioned in the newspaper. Atafona coast, there was a house built, and of a particular lady, which does not become important for us, her house, and it was way far from the coast originally, but from last few years until now, the water is entering, has touched her roof. So it becomes very much important for us that how much worse implications can this global warming have on us. So for us, from this article, what else can we take? Initially we can take the impact of the global warming. We can give it the example in our mains exam too, if such a question can be asked. For prelims based, that this Atfona coast, it becomes important for us. They can ask UPSC can ask you a question from this article, how Atfona coast, it was in news, it belongs to which area. So we should know that. Then the another article which was in the news is about the Indian Navy commanders begin their voyage around the world. These are two women Indian Navy lieutenant commanders. They begin their voyage around the world, and the vehicle which they are using for that is INSV Tarani. So this is little update on it. They had started this voyage, and this becomes important for us. We should know that what is this INSV Tarani, and these are two Indian women who lieutenant commanders who begin their voyage around the world. Then after that, there was another article. It is about it gave us the data from the last 5 years, 200 more approximately 200 major railway accidents had happened in the last 5 years, and more than 300 people have died of that, and many had been injured. So here what we need to know that, what is the cause of these major accidents, major railway accidents in India. Let's try to understand that via question here and get more idea about it. After we will discuss these questions, we will go to the features of the fundamental rights, which is from the static portion, and finally we will discuss the previous year questions too. So with this, I hope you had got the basic idea what was in the news. I hope you had got the context. Now let's try to solve the questions one by one. Here, the first question says, which of the following statements about the fifth schedule of the Indian Constitution are correct? So here we had a direct question from the fifth schedule. Now let us see what the statement says. It says, the first statement, the fifth schedule provides for the administration and control of the scheduled areas and scheduled tribes, 100% correct. The governor has the authority to regulate the use of land in scheduled areas, 100% correct. And also the fifth schedule applies only, here is the catch, this only part, to the states of the northeastern region of India. No, it does not apply only to the states of northeastern region, so this becomes incorrect. Statement 4, the panchayats in the scheduled areas are empowered to make recommendations to the management of resources, 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4, and from the code given below, correct code is 1, 2 and 4, which is option B only. So here, what else should we know about the fifth schedule? There we have the Tribal Advisory Council, which does not contain the members in the Tribal Advisory Council, which is in the fifth schedule. Please note that the Tribal Advisory Council, the limit of members in it is 20, and 3 by 4 MLAs which are in the Tribal Advisory Council are from the tribal people. So we should know this much about it. It provides advice pertaining to the tribal people, and power of the governor if any act should apply in a particular area. It gives extreme powers to the governor. This fifth schedule, it gives the extreme powers to the governor if any central act to be applied in the particular region or not. But here one thing we should note, that it is the extreme power of the governor. Here the power of the locals is very much limited. So that is also one of the reason many states which are the part in the fifth schedule, they want to shift to the sixth schedule as it is more powerful, and we will see why it is more powerful in the next question. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the sixth schedule of the Indian Constitution are correct? The first statement, it says, the sixth schedule provides for the establishment of autonomous district council in certain northeastern states, 100% correct, nothing wrong with this. In this autonomous district council, we should know that there are 30 members. It is a 30-member body in which only 4 are nominated by the governor. So governor's role is very much limited, and 26 are elected by the people. So it is their people's body. They decide what act should be applied in the region or not, so that it becomes the buffer for the people. Then second, the council have the power to make laws on matters such as land use and social customs, 100% correct. In the fifth schedule, we saw that the governor has the extreme powers. In this, the autonomous district has the extreme powers. So what is the difference? Governor, he acts as the, governor is like the representative of the center. So center can misuse him. But when you have the autonomous district, it gives you more autonomy, at least on the paper. Then the third option here, the sixth schedule applies only to the states of Assam and Meghalaya. No, it does not apply Assam and Meghalaya only. Mizoram and Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura are also included in the sixth schedule. Then the fourth statement, the governor has the authority to appoint the members of the autonomous district council. It is also incorrect. It has very much limited authority to appoint. This statement becomes very much broad. So this statement also is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only. So with this, I hope you had understood, you had got the basic idea of what fifth schedule is, what sixth schedule is. With this, let us move to the next question on the next slide. Here the question is about the areas which are in the news. It is Tyre, Sidon and Berat, recently seen in the news, belongs to which country? These areas we had seen multiple attacks from Israel in Lebanon. So it is very much clear to which state they belong to. They belong to Lebanon. So we need to know about these places as they are in the news. They become very much important for us. UPSC has this trend. They have this habit of asking these such questions. So please note down these questions. It could be asked directly. Who knows, many questions would be asked directly in the exam, and it would help you. With this, let's move to the another here. Also, it is a region based at fauna coast recently seen in news is located in which country? Is it located in Mexico? No. Is it located in California? No. Is it located in Yemen? No. It is definitely located in Brazil. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. With this, let's move to the another question. Here it is about INS Tarani. It says which of the following statements about INS Tarani are correct. Why we had taken a direct question from INS Tarani? Because it becomes important. Why? Because we had seen 2 women lieutenant governors had started their voyage around the world via this vehicle, INS Tarani. So let's discuss more about. Let's get more idea about it. It says INS Tarani is an indigenously built training ship of the Indian Navy. Correct. Second, it is primarily used for training cadets in navigation and seamanship. 100% correct. Third, INS Tarani is equipped with advanced technology for underwater warfare. Incorrect. It is not equipped with such technology. Fourth, the ship is named after a river in the Indian subcontinent. It is actually named after an Indian river, not in Indian subcontinent. So this also becomes more broad, and it is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option A. With this, we had completed the questions with respect to the current affairs. Now, let's move to the another part of our discussion. Sorry, we have one more question with respect to the current affairs. That is about the railways. Here the question says, which of the following are considered major causes of railway accidents in India? The basic purpose of this question is to give the proper idea about the major railway accidents in India. What are the major reasons for that? Such questions would hardly come in the exam. Maybe they had asked many times such questions, but least expected. But reason of bringing this question is to give the idea about it, to broader your vision. The first statement says human error, including mistakes made by train operators and signal staff. 100% correct. Second, faulty infrastructure such as worn out tracks and defective bridges. 100% correct. Third, overcrowding and poor passenger behavior during travel. This is indirectly correct, but directly incorrect, because it does not have direct implication on the result, but it can lead to the accidents. So here it does not directly lead to accidents, so it becomes incorrect. Statement 4, lack of technological advancements in safety systems and equipments. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4, and from the code given below, the correct code is option B. With this, we had completed the questions with respect to the current affairs. Now let's move to the another part, which is the static part, which is the features of the fundamental rights. Here as today's static topic is features of the fundamental rights, so let's get basic idea about it, what they are, what does they mean, and what essence they have in it. Here the first feature of the fundamental right which is given here in this slide is some of them are available only to citizens. 100% correct. There is about the fundamental rights, this is a unique feature about it. We have our fundamental rights start from article 12 to 35, and from these articles, all these articles are not of same intensity. There is a Goldie rule, three major articles in this, which we will discuss in the upcoming classes, which have the highest level in it. Further, there are some articles which are very much specific to the people of India, specific to the citizens of India, and some are specific to the whether they are the citizens or they are aliens in the country. So it is one of the features. Some of the articles are very much specific to the citizens of India, and some are very much fundamental in nature, and they belong to the everyone in the country. So this is one of the feature of our constitution. For example, the fundamental rights available only to citizens and not to foreigners. Here we should know, for example, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, equality of opportunity in matters of public employment, protection of sex rights regarding the freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, profession, and protection of language, security, culture of minorities, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. So these are the rights which are very much specific to the citizens only, and the remaining rights like equality before law and equal protection of law, protection in respect of convention for offences, protection of life and personal liberty, right to elementary education, and others rights which are very much available to both citizens as well as aliens. But few of those articles are not specific to enemy aliens, because in right to protection in respect of conviction for offences, it is not available to the enemy aliens. So there are few with respect to the aliens too, whether they are friendly aliens, then these articles are available to them, and if they are the enemy aliens, then few of the protections given by fundamental rights are not available to them. Second important feature of this is they are not absolute, but they are qualified. These fundamental rights, they are not absolute but qualified. The state can impose reasonable restrictions on them. However, whenever state can impose the reasonable restrictions on them, whenever, for example, there is emergency, or when there was when there was COVID-19, there was a need for untouchability. Article 17, that touchable, we should not touch, that the government asked us to go for the isolation, which was against the spirit of the constitution, because it is in the constitution, it is clearly mentioned under article 17 we should abolish the untouchability. So it went against it, but still we have this because there was the need of that. So sometimes these fundamental rights are not absolute, they can be restricted, but once they are restricted, that restriction can be taken to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will decide whether it is justified or not. Then the third important feature is some of them are negative in character and some are positive. What is this negative characteristic and positive characteristic? For example, at some time the constitution says the government has to take the action, and for sometimes the government has to retain from the action. For example, for example, here in our constitution we have the equality before law. There should मतलब कि वहाँ पे कोई inequality नहीं होनी चाहिए. There is a need for the government to stay away from their action. These are negative rights, and some where the government actions are need, for example, welfare of the people or something else related to that, where government government needs to for example, there is some under article 17 there is untouchability going on, so their government has to take the action. They don't have to keep people like that. So sometimes these fundamental rights are positive in nature and some fundamental rights are negative in nature, where the government has to restrain themselves from interacting with the people, from taking any action. Fourth, the feature of the fundamental rights are they are very much justiciable. They are very much justiciable if it allows the person to move to the courts for their enforcement if and when they are violated. For example, if any fundamental right is violated, the person can go to the court and ask for the justice, ask from the courts that the state is violating the fundamental rights, please take the action against it. If it is in line with the constitution, or if it is in the need of the time, then the judiciary will take the action with respect to the case. After that, the another feature is they are defended and guaranteed by the Supreme Court. They are very much defended and guaranteed by the Supreme Court. Hence, the aggrieved person can directly go to the Supreme Court. If anybody's fundamental rights are violated or restricted, he can directly go to the Supreme Court. So they are defended and guaranteed by the Supreme Court. They are not permanent, they can be amended, but one thing the government has taken into the consideration when they are amending the fundamental rights, they have to take one thing into the consideration, that they are not violating the basic structure of the constitution, which was elaborately mentioned by the Keshavananda Bharati case. So these are the few important features of the fundamental rights. I hope you had understood the topic here, you had got the basic gist of the topic. Now with this, let's move to the quiz part. Let's solve the question in the next slide. Here the question says, which of the following statements about the fundamental rights enshrined in the Indian Constitution are correct? The first statement, fundamental rights are justiciable and can be enforced in a court of law. 100% correct. Second statement, they are available only to citizens of India and not to foreigners. Totally incorrect. They are available to both citizens and foreigners, even to enemy aliens. Some of the rights. So this becomes very much incorrect. There are few rights which are particular to citizens, but these fundamental rights are very much available to the foreigners too. Third statement, fundamental rights can be suspended during a national emergency but not during a state emergency. Correct, nothing wrong with this statement. Another fourth statement, they include the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to constitutional remedies. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4, and from the code window the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood the basic concept of the static topic here, basic concept about the features of the fundamental rights. With this, let's move to the another part of today's discussion, which is discussing the previous year questions. Let's try to solve them. Here the first question is, who among the following leaders approved to adopt complete independence as the goal of the Congress in Ahmedabad session in 1920? The correct answer to this question is, here the question says, who among the following leaders proposed to adopt complete independence as the goal of the Congress in the Ahmedabad session of 1920? It is Hasrat Mohani. He was the first, CPI was the first organization in India who demanded the complete independence, and it was Hasrat Mohani. Then the second question here, it says, who among the following organized the famous Chittagong Armory raid? Is it Lakshmi Sehgal? No. Is it Butukeshwar Datta? No. It is J.M. Senugupta? No. Is it Surya Sen? 100% correct. So by solving these questions, we complete today's discussion. I hope you had understood everything what it was intended for, why we had brought it to give you more understanding about the topics and give you the clear vision for your next prelims. If you had watched it till now, thank you very much. Have a nice day. May you succeed in your exams, and please do subscribe if you had not subscribed yet, and please do share with your friends so that they may also get benefited from the initiative. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.